So today we're going to dive into a single source that honestly opens up an entire world. It's a field guide to forest trees of Northern Thailand. And look, this isn't just a book, it's more like a key that unlocks one of the most biodiverse, most complex regions on the entire planet. So let's start our journey into this incredible ecosystem.
Just look at this. This illustration from the cover, it just perfectly captures the sheer variety we're about to get into. You can almost feel how dense with life this place is, right? You've got dozens of different species all packed onto one single hillside. It's absolutely stunning to look at, but imagine actually standing there. It'd be a little overwhelming, wouldn't it?
And yeah, that really is the central question here. When you're standing in a forest like this, surrounded by literally hundreds of different kinds of trees, where do you even start? How do you turn all that beautiful chaos into something you can actually wrap your head around, something you can identify? Well, that's exactly the problem this field guide sets out to solve.
To really get to know the trees, we first have to understand the land they grow on. So the guide starts by mapping out the physical territory, showing us how the landscape itself is what shapes all the life growing within it.
This slide really connects all the dots. You see, Northern Thailand's climate is super seasonal. It's all driven by monsoons, with these really distinct wet and dry periods. Now, when you combine that with a super complex mountainous landscape, what you get is this intricate mosaic of different forest types. It all comes down to who gets water, when they get it, and at what elevation.
The guide boils it all down to three key things. First up is moisture. And we're not just talking about rain, but also groundwater, the slope of the land, even the soil type. Second, you've got altitude. As you climb higher, things get cooler and wetter, creating totally different zones for growth. And third, there's disturbance. And this is mostly human activity, especially fires, which can completely change what a forest looks like.
And check this out. This slide shows you exactly how those factors play out in the real world. Over on the left, you've got a lowland moist evergreen forest. You'd find this along streams where there's plenty of water. It's incredibly diverse with this thick, multi-layered canopy. But then on the right, you've got a highland pine forest on some exposed ridge. It's way drier, not nearly as diverse, and has a much more open feel. There are two completely different worlds, shaped by those same basic forces, moisture and altitude.
Okay, so we've got the map of the territory. Now we need the tools to actually navigate it. So let's crack open the guide itself and see how it helps us make sense of everything.
Now this is so smart. Instead of making you read through paragraphs of dense text, the guide uses this really elegant system of symbols. See that little mountain icon? That tells you the altitude range in a split second. And the circle next to it? That's the tree's preference for moisture, from dry to wet. It's like a visual language that gives you the most critical info at a glance.
Now for the main event, the identification key. I know, this might sound a little intimidating, a little scientific, but trust me, it's actually pretty simple. Think of it less like a textbook and more like a choose-your-own-adventure game, but for trees. It's just a logical puzzle that walks you step by step to the right answer.
The process couldn't be simpler. You start at number 1. You look at the choices it gives you. Does the leaf have teeth on the edge, or is it smooth? Are the leaves arranged opposite each other on the stem, or do they alternate? You just pick the one that matches, follow that to the next step, and you keep going. Each choice you make narrows down the possibilities until, boom, you've identified your tree.
All right, so you know how the key works. But what exactly are you supposed to be looking for when you're actually out there in the forest? Well, the guide equips you with a mental checklist of what to observe.
Think of this as your essential field notes. You start with the big picture. What's the habitat like? Then you zoom in on the tree itself. What's the bark look and feel like? How are the leaves arranged on the twig? Is the leaf one single blade, or is it compound, made up of a bunch of little leaflets? And if you get lucky, the real jackpot clues are the flowers and the fruit.
And we need to just pause for a second and appreciate the sheer scope of this work. 880 species. That number represents over 75% of all native tree species in Northern Thailand. I mean, that is a monumental achievement. It makes the vast majority of that incredibly complex forest accessible to anyone with enough curiosity to just look.
But this project was never just about being able to name a bunch of trees. There's a much deeper purpose behind why it was created. This is where we shift from the how to the why.
This quote from the Toyota Thailand Foundation, who supported the project, just gets right to the heart of it all. They call the book a bridge that connects people to nature, and it's built out of knowledge, compassion, and awareness. So this isn't just about data, right? It's a tool designed to forge a connection.
Wow,
This message from the book's foreword adds this whole other ethical layer. It frames the act of learning not as some casual hobby, but as a real responsibility. It's saying that in an age of environmental crisis, gaining this kind of knowledge is really the first step toward a revolution of awareness and restoration.
And I love this metaphor from the publisher. It's so beautiful. Knowledge isn't something passive. It's an active force. It's a fire of ideas. And that fire pushes back against the darkness of ignorance, and it protects nature from the harmful insects of exploitation and just not caring.
So when you put all of that together, you really start to see what this field guide truly is. It's not just an encyclopedia of trees. It's a carefully crafted, knowledge-based response to an environmental crisis. It is a tool designed to empower a whole new generation of guardians for these amazing forests.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. This guide proves that a really well-designed tool can make an impossibly complex system understandable, accessible. It's a bridge built out of paper and ink. So, the question for all of us is, what other bridges can we and should we be building to better connect with the natural world that's all around us?